Hi guys, welcome to the morning after. I am your host, Sharleen Joynt, and today we are recapping episode 3 of Listen to Your Heart, the only season there is. I have very mixed feelings about this show. Not only this episode, but this show. I really feel like it's tugging my heart in all directions. On one hand, I really love some aspects, and then it just does these things that drive me crazy and make me not want to watch it anymore, and I'm just confused. Episode 3 begins with Brandon and Julia briefly talking when Brandon explains to Julia that he knew Sheridan would be giving Julia his rose, and therefore he knew he would have the time to talk to Julia and figure things out. As much as this is like a very human thing to have done, and I think a lot of people in his position would have done this, it's not a great look. Basically, in short, Sheridan was being used for his rose while Brandon decides which girl he likes better. That's kind of the gist. Chris Harrison arrives, and this is where the show just takes a turn for the worse, in my opinion. He arrives to give the contestants the right reasons talk, which is, let's make sure everyone's here for the right reasons, which, by the way, is love, even though everyone clearly is here for their music careers, and there's no shame in that. That's why they were cast on the show. Gotta take deep breaths here. So Gabe, rejected by Savannah, makes the decision to go. Already, that's upsetting. We never heard Gabe sing or play or do anything. It's painful to see people go. Why is the love such a big factor in this? It should be, like I said in my recap last week, a happy side effect. Like a nice thing that came out of it, not the reason why someone advances or not. Ruby, who arrived 1 week prior, sums it up very well with, "I feel like I wasn't given a fair chance." Exactly. So then Chris Harrison describes what they're all in for, what the competition will look like and what the prize is, and it's a little American Idol-esque, but with these couples who, by the way, have known each other for 2 weeks, and they have to force and pretend to be in love with each other for the sake of their performance and for the sake of advancing. I don't understand how, isn't that fake? Isn't that kind of playing up things for the camera? Wouldn't it be more authentic if some of these pairings were just platonic? Is that not okay? I don't understand why it's this song and dance of authenticity, but also forcing them to be inauthentic. Okay, so Becca and Danny get their date card. Oof, this was a painful date. First of all, Becca and Danny, there was no question who would be going home at the end of this week because I didn't even know what their names were. I had to rewind back to this date to figure out what their names were. So that really said it all. Danny goes in for a kiss with Becca in the pool, and she does this recoil. It was really painful. She said, "It puts a lot of pressure on me to feel things very quickly." I mean, I'm sorry, if she were attracted to him, this wouldn't be a struggle, but it's so painful, and it's a shame that she's forced into this position. Why can't they just perform as friends? Why? I'm gonna ask this question a lot. Okay, so back at the mansion, Julia is unraveling at a pretty rapid pace, I would say. She, in a chat with Jamie, reveals that she thinks that Brandon and Savannah, who are now paired up together, are faking it to get ahead. She claims that Brandon said he was willing to work things out, which is kind of debatable. That wasn't really verbatim, but okay. With Julia 24 hours earlier, which, okay, sure, maybe that was how she interpreted that conversation. And Savannah said that, apparently at one point, said that it takes her 6 months to feel comfortable with PDA, and now they're all comfortable with hands all over each other, according to Julia. Okay, as much as I feel like Julia could be onto something, and it would be totally expected that a couple would do this on the show to stay on, the fact that it doesn't bother anyone else in the mansion kind of says it all, and just really is not a good look on Julia. It really just makes her look like sour grapes and just sort of like the woman scorned rather than, the investigator, detective woman that she thinks she's being in this. She has such a hard time with other people being inauthentic, yet can we talk a bit about how Julia to some degree is being inauthentic with Sheridan for the sake of staying on the show? Just a little bit. It's kind of the same thing. And Savannah said it best with, "If I want to sit here and jam with him and want to have my arm around him, that's very much my business." And obviously she's right. Just Savannah came off really good here, and Julia, it was just not a good look. Julia had the gall to say she felt like she was under attack, and that's where she lost me completely, because it was so obvious that she was going on the offensive and was just so aggressive with Savannah. It was, ooh. So then Natasha and Ryan, meanwhile, go on a date. Not a lot to mention here. Lauren Lane and Chris Lane make a cameo. I guess Natasha and Ryan seem pretty compatible. There's not a lot, honestly, we just see them either performing together or making out. We don't really see a lot of conversation, so there's not a lot to go off. In terms of the performances, gosh, these were cool. Is there just something really neat about watching people that you feel like you've gotten to know on a human level when you see this other aspect of them, this other side. Rudy, what a singer. I think she might be my favorite. Oh, I don't know, Natasha's also really good. Rudy and Natasha, their singing is just like goosebumps inducing. They're so great. I really liked Brie and Chris's performance, but I was annoyed by the feedback. Jason Mraz said, "Are you in love with him or the audience?" Like, this is just so ridiculous. It's a performance. Do you want them to make out on stage? It's like, make a decision on what this show is about. Is it about talent or is it about love? It was entirely about the eye contact, the chemistry, when, first of all, that's been forced to begin with. And these people are singing, they've made their own renditions of these songs, and there's just no addressing that whatsoever. It was annoying. As a singer, it really, really bugged me. Like I'm getting like worked up and passionate here. Becca and Danny, great example. There's no mention of their unbelievable singing. Becca's voice was insane. And it's just about this love connection, the fact that she didn't kiss him back on the second time. Who cares? Savannah and Brandon, once again, vilified for trying to cater to the audience here. Like there wasn't enough eye contact to be convincing. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? It belittles what they do. It belittles their abilities as musicians and the work they went into preparing that performance. Julia and Sheridan, I didn't think it was possible to like Sheridan any more than I already did, but he won me over even more. You could just see the affection for Julia here, the support in his eyes. It was really, really beautiful. I do feel like they got slightly lucky with their song because, you know, everyone was like, yay, Backstreet Boys, so of course it's gonna make a better impression, but it was really great. Julia's singing gave me goosebumps at the beginning with this opening. It was really nice. Natasha and Ryan, thank God Natasha made a move on Ryan last week and got his rose and stuck around long enough for us to hear her sing. Oh my God, she was unbelievably good. But isn't it sad that that's what she had to do to be heard sing on this show? Think about that for a second. She had to cozy up to a guy, get his rose, and then couple up with him in order for us to hear her sing on a show about music. There's something wrong with that picture. And then Jamie and Trevor, I liked his performance. I wasn't wowed by it, but it was just very sweet. I liked the support between them. And then she talked about, you know, her self-worth and self-love. It was very sweet. And then there's a rose ceremony for no apparent reason whatsoever. Why is there a rose ceremony if it's a judge decision? This show is just like so trying to like fit this into the mold of a Bachelor show that they're forcing things. There's no need for a rose ceremony here. And obviously, very predictable outcome. Like I said, we didn't even know Becca and Danny's names at the beginning of this episode, so it was no question who would be going home. So all in all, this show's taking a bit of a nosedive, I'm not gonna lie. I started out really liking that premiere, and now it's just kind of been downhill ever since. A little frustrating. But anyway, be sure to read my Flair recap if you're still watching the show. And thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys here next week on the morning after. Bye.